I'm not sure about you, but doesn't it sound nice to work at one of the best hospitals in the United States? Now, I have worked at a state-of-the-art Trauma 1 magnet status hospital, which is also where I went to nursing school and did all of my nursing clinicals. And it was nice. It was pretty dreamy, but it had its downfalls. Now, I've also worked at a hospital that is out in the boonies and felt like I was a nurse from 100 years ago. Both had its pros and both had its cons. But today, let's talk about the 5 best hospitals to work at here in the United States. Today's list is coming from nursejournal.org, and I'm giving you the top 5, but they list the top 15. So if you want the full top 15 hospitals to work at in the United States, make sure you click the link in my description. Now, these hospitals made this list based on certain criteria, and I will say each one of these hospitals are also magnet status. Now, if you are not familiar with that term, let me give you a quick overview of what that means. I'm going to read right from my computer here because I do not want to mess this up. Magnet status, in short, is where the nurses are continuously learning and held to certain criteria or benchmarks, all while trying the very best to improve patient outcomes. But look at the full definition underneath me. But what does this mean for patients? For patients, going to a magnet status hospital pretty much means you know you are going to get the best care possible of any other hospital around that is not magnet status recognized. The AHA states that there were 6,093 hospitals here in the United States in 2022. As of October 1st, 2022, Nursing World stated that there were only 601 facilities who received magnet designation, but 378 hospitals are magnet designated. So 601 facilities, but only 378 of those being hospitals. So that's just over 6% of hospitals have this designation here in the United States. And that's not a high amount at all. But back to our list. Nursing Journal had a list of 30 total hospitals, which they then narrowed down to 15 hospitals based on certain criteria. This included patient satisfaction scores, safe staffing, ratings from the nurse reviewers, and lastly, hospital safety measures. That's the kind of criteria I like to hear, especially about safe staffing. That's the kind of hospital I want to work at. But back to the list, let's start going from 5 down to number 1 being the best hospital to work at here in the United States. So number 5 on the list is University of Michigan Health System. The University of Michigan's health system hired over 213 new grads in 2021. That is a huge amount of new grads. It seemed to me as I read through the article that this hospital really does care about their nursing staff. They are competitive in their pay and very flexible with benefits, it read. Not only that, they do have a wellness program for their employees, and employees have access to benefits to care for children and their aging parents. And lastly, they did rank above average on nurse work environment. So go University of Michigan Health System. Applauds to you. Going down the map a little bit, we come to number 4, and that is in New York, New York, the Hospital of Special Surgery. If you are an orthopedic nurse or want to get into orthopedics, this is the place for you. This hospital has ranked number one for orthopedics for the last 13 years. And going back to magnet status, this was the first hospital in New York to receive that recognition 5 times. Again, if you don't know anything about magnet recognition is very hard to get. So that's absolutely amazing that the Hospital for Special Surgery was able to get that. Now, this next part I really liked hearing, so I'm going to read it right from the article. The hospital is a global leader in rheumatology and orthopedics, stressing career development and training for the nursing staff. Professional growth and development opportunities include a robust clinical ladder, residency program, perioperative program, and programs for nurses seeking specializations in step-down and post-anesthetic or anesthesia care. I cannot stress the importance of how important it is to give nurses the opportunity to climb the clinical ladder. I'm not saying this is for every single nurse out there to climb the clinical ladder, but I do think it's important to give nurses that opportunity. Now, lastly, in the article, it did say, which is important to many people, they are among the few hospitals that publish the option to accommodate schedules for religious beliefs or visa sponsorship. All right, we're halfway there. Number 3. Bringing us not too far away from New York, New York, we are going to Morristown, New Jersey. And this hospital is called Morristown Medical Center. Now, this quote I'm about to read I think is really big for all nurses, so here it goes. Morristown Medical Center ranked number 3 in our list of best hospitals for nurses in 2021 and retained this position for our 2022-2023 rankings. The ANCC has designated the hospital as a magnet hospital 4 consecutive times. The American Academy of Nursing recognizes it for recruiting and retaining well-qualified nursing staff. Now, I don't know about you, but I personally have seen well-qualified nursing staff lacking these last few years. Now, I only graduated in 2016 and started nursing in 2016, so I've been at it for about 6 years now. But finding well-qualified nurses is very hard to come by these days. Do you also agree? Comment below if you agree or disagree with me on that. That can be a little controversial, I know. So back to Morristown Medical Center, they also offer a nurse externship program. This is huge for nursing students. Talk about opportunity. Nursing leadership also stresses shared governance, something that I have not seen in too many hospitals at all, which can make a huge difference in how that nurse feels like their voice is being heard at work. I know when I was in the shared governance at the hospital that I originally started in, I felt like my manager was listening to me, supervisors were listening to me, my fellow nurses around me were listening to my ideas, and we could meet every month and talk about those ideas, and it felt like you were actually contributing to the hospital. Now, where I've been at in travel nursing, places that do not have that shared governance, retention is like down in the dumps. Almost there. Number 2, going south just a little bit, but now out of the Northeast, is in Pennsylvania. This is a hospital very close to where I grew up, and this is UPMC Pinnacle in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. This hospital employs over 18,000 nurses and nursing staff. UPMC Pinnacle also hosts an annual research or nursing research conference with a focus on improved patient care and developing a healthy workforce environment. And this one's big. They boast themselves in offering one of the highest differentials for RNs with a BSN degree in the greater Pittsburgh area. Now, if you know anything about Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh's like way over here, Harrisburg is way down here. They're nowhere close to each other. So the greater Pittsburgh area, that's a pretty great area. Now, I may add, Harrisburg isn't too far away from Amish country, and that is some beautiful land. So I'm gonna add that as a pro onto that hospital right there. Okay, now bringing us to number 1. Number 1, according to this list, the best hospital to work at in the entire United States is on the opposite coast of everything else we've talked about, and we are going out to California, which first off does not surprise me at all. So in Newport, California, Hoag Memorial Hospital Presbyterian is number 1. They say Hoag Memorial Hospital Presbyterian promotes a nurturing environment for the nursing staff. I've never heard of any environment being nurturing in nursing. I'm actually curious to what that would even look like. This hospital offers bonuses for nurses who achieve advanced certifications, and I have found that not every hospital out there gives you this. The hospital I started off in nursing did offer this. I became certified, a certified medical surgical registered nurse, my CMSRN, and I got a pay increase. But other hospitals, they tell their nurses to go get a certification, but then there's no reward for getting that. They're like, hey, we just want you to be certified. But then it's like, well, you're not gonna do anything for me either. You go above and beyond, so why not be rewarded from your employer for that? Because you're doing it for your employer. And yourself, yes, but mostly for your employer. And lastly, this article ends stating that this hospital has low patient-to-nurse ratios. And that's why it's not surprising that the #1 hospital is in California, because they have those nurse-to-patient ratio laws out there. So have you ever heard of any of these hospitals? I've only heard of the one in Harrisburg, none of the other ones. Which hospital sounds most attractive to you? Let me know in the comment section below. But that is it for today's video, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that little notification bell. If you want to know what I will be talking about for the rest of this month, I do have my video lineup in the description of this video of all my January 2023 videos that I will be talking about. If there are any topics that you want me to touch on this year, please comment that, or you can email me at nursecatherine@gmail.com. Other than that, that is it. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.